William Shatner keeps getting in the news for all sorts of different reasons, and it's kind of fun to see that an actor who's 90 years old and he still makes headlines. So this is actually a USA Today article, which I think is really cool. Again, he's still making headlines, and it says William Shatner joins the WWE Hall of Fame. Quote, I should have gone into wrestling as Captain Kirk. So it says World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, has a new Hall of Famer, William Shatner, who took part in WWE events when he was patrolling the universe as Captain James T. Kirk of Star Trek. It says Shatner will be inducted into the celebrity wing in an April 6th WWE Hall of Fame ceremony that will stream on Peacock. It will be held remotely due to COVID-19. And also, I guess they're combining the classes of 2020 and 2021 due to the pandemic. They didn't do a class of 2020, and Shatner is technically part of that 2020 group. But it's funny for me because I'm a huge William Shatner fan. And, you know, I even had the opportunity at Star Trek Vegas. My friend got a photo op with him. And at those events, you're allowed to have like a +1 when you do a photo op. So I got to meet William Shatner very briefly and take a picture with him. But I didn't even realize he did WWE stuff. Did you know that? I mean, did you even know, Dave, that he was involved with the World Wrestling, Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment?
I mean, I'm not surprised because they would bring in all kinds of movie tie-in stuff to promote wrestling stuff. I mean, the biggest one I think of is when RoboCop supposedly showed up to help out during a big wrestling match when they were promoting RoboCop 2. So,
oh wow, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was weird because RoboCop supposedly showed up to try and help decide the match. It was really strange because the whole time I'm watching this, going, "There's no way in hell they could do that," you know. But you know, it's interesting because that's kind of like a staple in my mind anyway of kind of wrestling and wrestling entertainment is you know, tying in those different celebrities and bringing kind of all these different kind of things together, almost like a melting pot of, you know, pop cultureness, you know what I mean? So to me, I'm not too terribly surprised. I don't remember seeing the William Shatner stuff specifically. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff that William Shatner did as Captain Kirk that sometimes we aren't aware of. Like, for example, like in foreign countries, there's these amazingly produced commercials where Captain Kirk is running around in, you know, Wrath of Khan era, you know, red tunics with phasers blasting with, you know, James Doohan and stuff. And you're like, what is this? Like, when did they do this? You know, and then just recently on YouTube recommended I watch a video, and it was actually a press conference they were doing for the media for actually Star Trek V, Final Frontier, where all the cast members were there in their we'll call Wrath of Khan era red tunics, and they pull back the curtains, and it's the whole bridge set, and everything's working, and they answer questions from the press for a little bit. Howard Bennett's there, and I'm like, what is this? How have I never seen this before? And it also recommended another clip of Shatner, and he's sitting on an outcropping in view of El Capitan, talking about, you know, the reason they had that segment in Star Trek V and where the inspiration came from. And I was just like going, how have I never seen any of this stuff before? So if you go on YouTube, there's all kinds of interesting stuff that William Shatner did that we're probably not aware of. So
one of my favorites, speaking of ads, is he did one for, I can't remember which of the JJ Trek movies they made a game for. I believe it was the second film they made a video game for. I don't think it was the first one, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the third one because the third one didn't do very well. But they made an adaptation of the theatrical JJ verse Star Trek into a video game, and they didn't use any of the actors from that cast for promoting it. They used William Shatner, and he did a rematch with the Gorn. Have you ever seen that one? Dave, have you ever seen that one?
No, I have not seen that one. Sorry, I
think you would love it. You've got to check it out. I think if you put in maybe if you put in Star Trek, what was Star Trek, the Star Trek 2 of JJ verse called? Star Trek
Into Darkness.
Maybe it's if you just put like Star Trek Into Darkness video game, or maybe just like it might even be Star Trek Beyond video game or something like that, or just Star Trek video game 2009 or something. It'll probably pop up. It's so funny. It's so funny. I don't want to ruin it for you. You got to check it out. But they have an actual rematch with William Shatner and the Gorn. And as Matt Henshaw says, everyone loves the Shat. Of course, everyone loves the Shat, Matt. Absolutely. Although, it's kind of funny. I do see that he gets into trouble sometime on his Twitter and things like that. And of all things, it's because he refuses to be political. He refuses to be political on his Twitter feed, and there are people that actually go after him for that because they want him to comment on their whatever their cause is. And he says, "I won't do that. That's not what I'm about. That's not why I'm here." And I just wanted to touch on the article that I didn't get to talk about because I did think this was really interesting. I wanted to talk about this last week because last week, of course, William Shatner turned 90 years old. And this is an article that from March 22nd. So it is a little bit dated, but I didn't get to talk about it last time. And William Shatner did turn 90, and it said, William Shatner celebrates 90th birthday by creating an AI version of himself for future generations. So he said basically, it says on Monday of that last week, Storyfile, an upcoming interactive storytelling app, announced that the iconic actor, writer, director is joining the company as a brand ambassador. Shatner, who is also marking a big birthday milestone Monday, is the first person to work with Storyfile Life to create an AI-powered interactive conversational video that his family and friends can interact with for years to come, available beginning May of 2021. So it's kind of interesting. So essentially, if you really think about what this is like the first kind of version of what you might call like a holodeck recreation of a historical figure or of a real person. And basically they're incorporating this sort of, artificial intelligence technology to create this interactive William Shatner that will theoretically be around long after he's gone. And I just thought that was so interesting because, essentially this is basically like, the first version of like a holodeck character. Obviously you'll probably just interact with them, via a screen or something like that. It won't be a hologram yet, but the idea is basically the same. And I thought that was really interesting that that's something that's actually happening.
Huh. That's pretty cool. I did find, if you don't mind if I share my screen, I found that commercial I was talking about.
Sure. Yeah, let me get mine off real quick.
So I thought this would be interesting. This is if I can find where there it is. And get it to play. So it's this strange commercial. But see, there's William Shatner. There's Kirk.
That's great.
And then check this out. There's James
that's funny how
he's
basically straight up in the next gen engine room too. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So this was obviously probably filmed after Star Trek 6.
Yeah. But it's for some kind of a British, I think, insurance company or something.
I feel like I vaguely remember this because I feel like I remember something with because you can see how all the sets are next gen sets.
Yeah.
So obviously the Star Trek 6 sets had already been taken down by this time. It's kind of I feel like I kind of remember this because I remember that idea of Scotty kind of being basically in the next generation engine room. So I feel like I might have seen this before.
It's a weird sort of thing. I thought it'd be just kind of fun to kind of show since we were talking about this kind of idea, so.
No, that's awesome. No, I love that kind of stuff, but I feel like I might have seen it. I feel like I might have seen it before.
Yeah, it's an unusual thing. I can't remember exactly how I stumbled across it. I think someone shared that weird Star Trek KFC commercial. I think that's kind of what started it, and it started me down this rabbit hole of like, well, what else have I not seen? And then eventually it led me, to that. And I was like, well, this is crazy. There's like laser blasts and, there's James Doohan. This is kind of cool. Like, what the hell is this? So.
Well, you got to check out that Gorn one, man. You got to. I think you'll love it. I think you'll absolutely.
All right, I'll check it out.
And Matt Henshaw says of the Shat, he says he's a smart man for not getting political. I agree with you, Matt. But again, there are people that actually go after him for that, because no matter what you do in this day and age, you offend somebody. That's just the way it is, right? So.
Yep, I'm offended right now.
I'm offended that you're offended.
You're offended that I'm offended that you're offended that I offended you. All right.